It has been nearly 8 years since the Legend of Count Sockula, the infamous vampire sock, was first reported to the general public. In a story unique in the annals of history, Sockula was the byproduct of a madman's experiment gone awry. In his quest for a commercial product that would control unpleasant foot odors, the evil genius Dr. Skull invented the powerful eater odors. These creatures, which lived solely on the stench of human feet, produced one serious side effect. Yes, they gave life to the socks that rested upon them. A harmless sock, first known as Socko, was created by that first experimental pair. He and his friend Bobby Socks were just beginning to experience the joys of living when Bobby was killed by a careless human. That act triggered a metamorphosis, and the harmless Socko evolved into the vampire sock, Count Sockula.
Oh, little children,
his vengeance was swift and terrible, and for months the whole countryside cowered in fear of the vampire sock.
oh, little children, the nightmares creeping in your dreams. The nightmares creeping in your dreams.
Eventually, the power of Count Sockula was destroyed by Dr. Van Helsing and his imitation silver shoehorn. Dr. Skull and his hideous eater odors have long since expired, but the story of Count Sockula does not end there.
Oh, little boys, the demons grabbing at your shirt. The demons
For unknown to the outside world, Count Sockula lived. Although he was terribly weakened by the power of Dr. Van Helsing's silver shoehorn, Sockula survived, a mere shadow of his former self. He withdrew from society and hid in the forest, with only the imaginary creatures of the wild to comfort him.
You ain't looking too good. Somebody said you had that anorexia thing. Oh, your name is anorexia. Well, that's a pretty good name. My friends, I'm glad you have stuck with me. And there's something stuck on this log here. Oh, that's gum. All right, get that off of there. Okay, now where was I? Oh, my friends, I am glad you have stuck with me through these times. And through the Tribune also. That's one of my favorite papers. Which reminds me, we're going to need some papers to sleep under tonight. I need some volunteers to go out and get some papers. No? Okay, I'll do it myself. Wait here until I return. Thank you.
Soon, however, the craving for society became too much for him to bear. Count Sockula returned to civilization. The Count worked quietly behind the scenes to find a way to fit into a world that had never given him a proper start. Finally, he got his chance, springing full-blown on the public as the host of the popular children's show, the Count's Castle Club. Count Sockula was totally absorbed by the magic of show business. It filled the void in his woolly heart, and soon the sawdust flowing in his veins took the place of his insatiable thirst for human blood. During that period of personal evolution, an early guest appeared on his show, who was destined to become his one true love, Charlene. What can one say of true love? From their first sight of one another, the two were inseparable. The proper lady and the wild one. Yes, theirs was a passion that burned with the fire of 1,000 suns. The affairs of Antony and Cleopatra and Romeo and Juliet had nothing on the undying love of Charlene and the Count. It was that magic union which eventually produced Ernie, the son of Sockula. This is his story.
was born a beautiful blonde baby. He was our little Halloween trick-or-treat. We used to enjoy going to the park and sitting in the sun, playing games, or reading a favorite book at bedtime was a perfect end to a perfect day. It was a beautiful day when baby Binky's beautiful adventure began. The first thing he got stuck to in the dryer was a nice blouse that the lady was wearing out of the house that day. Oh, what a wonderful place he went to. She went to a place she called work. Ooh, Booty didn't like that. This little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. And all the little piggies went wee, wee, wee. All the way home. Mama. Well, Ernie, I know those little chicken socks itch a lot, but let me give you some medicine. Yeah, my poor little guy caught everything. 1 week it was chicken socks. The next, the 24-hour shoe. Good night, my little booty. But as he grew older, things started changing. His color darkened, and he seemed to become more of a loner. While everybody else was hanging in pairs, Ernie started to hang with a wild bunch. He said that a lot of the gang was pretty dull, so he ran with the rebels in the pack. But he wasn't cut from the same cloth as the others. We wanted to teach him to be more responsible. He told us that if we bought him a puppy, he'd take care of it. Well, it was a little bit more than he could handle. While he was recovering, he finally took a real interest in his studies. He was going to become a podiatrist and make the whole family proud. To earn money for school, Ernie got his first job at the local Fallen Arches as the fry guy. He was really disappointed when he found out that it was a fast food and not a fast foot chain. Ernie worked hard, but after 3 months, the boss pulled him aside.
Hey, look, kid. Every once in a while, life throws you a curve. You just have to roll with it. I'm gonna have to let you go. You're just not on the ball. Hey, don't take it so hard. When I was your age, I used to bounce from job to job too. Now, you're out of here.
Strangely enough, Ernie developed a passion for hitting baseballs. Soon he won a college sports scholarship. Even though they loved him on the field, he couldn't climb their artificial walls.
Hey, how are ya?
Pretty good. How you doing?
All right,
Oh,
nice to
you're looking
see you.
good. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Why? What are you doing for homecoming?
Homecoming? I have no plans yet.
You don't?
No,
well, I got
no.
a new suit. You want to go with me? We can go in my daddy's Porsche, and we can have a real good
that
time. We
sounds
can shake a
nice.
leg out
That
there.
sounds nice.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? What I really don't like
yeah.
about this school is, some people come around, with their Saginchi socks,
I'm
and then
really
there's these,
trying to horn in on everything.
yeah, and then they come out, shoo, get out of here. Yeah,
Oh,
old
it's getting
G-Mart
stuffy in
socks.
here.
Come
I'm
on,
getting
let's
out of
go.
here.
But even as an Argyle, he couldn't fit in.
It was at the sock hop when Ernie first heard the music that filled his woolly soul, the lyrical tones of Paranoia.
When you brilliant and you're pretty and you're blessed being witty. Who's good enough for you?
Paranoia.
When you're rolling in the dough and the teeny boppers know who's good enough for you.
Paranoia.
We are the members of the Paranoia Band. For big new meaning to the songs we're taking hand. Ooh.
Paranoia.
So when you're tired of the rest and you're looking for the best, who's good enough for you? All right, take it away.
From the driving pulse in his ankle to the tip of his toes, Ernie's foot was set firmly on a new path. He would be a musician.
This song will show we're trying with the talent, what we're buying. Who's good enough for you?
Paranoia.
He was quite a dancer.
Hard to pass the buck when you're running out of luck. Who's good enough for you? We are the members of the Paranoia Band. A big new meaning to the song we're taking hands. When you're looking for the best, then you're looking for the rest. Who's good enough for you? Take it away. Paranoia. Paranoia.
What blew him away the most was the phenomenal guitar playing of Paranoia's leader, Deaf Eddie Y. In spite of all those cold feet, Ernie's spirit was never
We are the
broken.
members of the Paranoia Band. We bring new scenes to the song we're taking hand.
He always tried to join in.
Paranoia.
When you're looking for the best and take it from the rest, who's good enough for you?
And they're right, who's good enough?
Paranoia.
Harmony made him feel as if all his toes were in perfect alignment. He saw an ad for a band looking for a roadie. He knew he'd have to pay his dues. So that seemed like a good first step. Unfortunately, Ernie felt like he had two left feet. And while his own musical career was falling apart, he heard on the radio that Paranoia had broken up. Deaf Eddie Y had been committed for a much-needed rest at the Sunnyvale Asylum and Daycare Center. His musical hero gone, Ernie was shattered. He tried to keep his mind occupied between his studies and sports, but his nerves were hanging by a thread. One day on the soccer field, that thread snapped. The violence that was his legacy began. The latent bloodlust was unleashed. Ernie was the son of Sockula. Once again, the countryside was aghast with a series of random vampire sock attacks. He attacked over and over. Then one day, Ernie made a serious mistake. He left a body where even the police could trip over it.
Could that be?
Detective Calamari was called in.
Jeez, look at this. Look at this, there's another one. That's fantastic. All right, do me a favor on this one. Call Mackenzie, call the boys at the lab, and this is very important, get this right. Tell them to get me a corned beef on rye sandwich down here as quick as they can. Okay. Look at this. Now that's interesting. Take a close look down there. That sweater, my wife's got the exact same sweater. That's beautiful. This thing's 100% cashmere. Look at that. Look at this. You know what the most interesting thing about this is here? The most interesting thing is cats don't care if their owners get killed. They just walk right over top of them. Another interesting thing here is you can you can do shadow puppets here. The lighting is very good in here. I like this. I like this. I think we're gonna have to leave this here and get a chalk outline of this kid. I saw a child with a piece of chalk outside. See if we can borrow that. All right. I'm gonna go check on that sandwich I got.
But when his partner went to check on the sandwich, the sock made its fatal mistake.
I was working a day watch out of homicide. I don't know exactly what that means, but it's a great way for a detective to start a story. We searched everywhere for the sock. We used stakeouts, all kinds of stakeouts. Then we got sick of steak and we went to chili dogs. We covered the laundromats, we covered the laundry baskets, we even covered the clotheslines. Then it hit me. Where else would a sock hide? He would hide in a top dresser drawer. So I hid in the top dresser drawer for what seemed like a week. Turned out it was only about 168 hours. Finally, that sock showed up. We jumped out and we nabbed him. Now, I told him he was under arrest. He just laughed at me. I don't think it was his, disrespect for the law or anything like that, but it was just the fact that I was wearing underwear on my head. Okay. So we maced the sock with some of that, what do you call that, laundry softener stuff in a can, and we dragged him off to the pen. We're probably going to beat him with a silk hose. That trial was a travesty. It was a circus, I'm telling you. And I still got some of that elephant stuff on my shoes here. And I'm telling you, I don't know about that verdict. That verdict just fell right out of the sky. Just like that. That sock should have been put away into the electric dryer. But instead they send him off to that asylum. It's like we didn't even have a thread of evidence, but we did. I demand a recount. And that's all I've got to say on the subject.
At Sunnyvale, Ernie met a number of memorable and interesting characters.
You know, my mama used to say that life is like a drawer full of socks. You never know when you're gonna get two that are alike. You know, I think we should start our own sock business. You can come into business with me. How would that be? That would be fine. You know, my girlfriend, Jenny, she wears real long socks. They go all the way up her legs. You should see that. That's a sight to behold. I'm on my way to see her now. Maybe you can come along too. Okay. We'll go in a few minutes, as soon as the bus gets here. Okay.
Yeah, my dad used to take me to car on Wednesdays. He used to take me to buy socks on Wednesdays, and then we stop and get French fries on Wednesdays, like these French. There's 17. There's 17 of them. Counting the 3 in the box, there's 14 plus 3 is 17. Yes. These French fries they're expensive. You shouldn't spill. They cost $100. A pair of socks costs $100. But a pair, you could buy 2 pairs, 6 pair, 8 pair, 2, 6, 8. That's a lot. That's a lot. Socks. No. Shouldn't eat those. Spilled on the ground. That's not good. We'll have to sweep those up. Those cost $100.
But fate had a special meeting in mind. The Son of Sockula again crossed the path of his musical hero, Deaf Eddie Y.
Bracken, what do you think? Your butt takes to your mother with the butt into your break. And furthermore,
Deaf Eddie instantly sensed the sock's lyrical ability. This pairing was to send a regroup Paranoia to the top of the charts. But the sock had charisma and soon became the special man. With that, Paranoia became Ernie's band. They followed up with their first hit on MTV.
Why are you watching me? I know you're watching me. Is my hair too short? My hair too long? You're trying to steal this song. Why are you watching me? I'm watching you, watching me. Why are you watching me? There's it on my face. I see you at my place. Why are you watching me? I know you're watching me. I can feel you watching me every day as I'm walking on my way. Don't watch me. I know you won't see me. No. Why are you watching
Unfortunately, success went straight to the sock's head. Behind his back, the drummer Billy Roy Bobber Steve was quoted by a tabloid as saying of him, "He thinks his feet don't stink, but they do." Alas, success has its price. Ernie soon fell prey to the excesses of life on the road. It was then that his addiction to Shinola began, and with the loss of self-esteem and consciousness, he soon reverted to his old ways. He hung with the rowdy crowd again, and then just went wild. The attacks in the community continued. Was there no relief from the attacks of Ernie, son of Sockula?
Now this reporter wants to introduce Rita the Gwench, one-time star of Paranoia, the band.
Hello.
Rita, can you tell our readers and listeners and watchers, what is the truth to the rumors of you and your affair with the son of Sockula?
Well, I'll tell you what, you hit the nail right on the head when you use the word rumors, because that is exactly what that was. I don't know, some people get these strange ideas that things are going on,
Mommy,
but they are not
hungry.
They're not true. Not true at all. Don't know. Yes, dear.
Mommy, I'm hungry.
Oh, okay. I'll feed you in a little bit. You go now. Okay. All right. There might have been an affair, and he kept insisting that he was not a heel. But you know, he did play footsie with everyone, and I couldn't take it any longer, and like my song says, I am Rita, and after 3 long years he should have known my name. I'm sorry, I can't do this anymore. The interview must end. The interview must end.
Cut! Great.
Last time that we went out, you held me close and tight. But somehow when you spoke, it didn't seem quite right. It's up to you to make me believe it's me you're thinking of.
Rita was Paranoia's last recording. Deaf Eddie was soon returned to Sunnyvale for further observation, and the band drifted apart. By day, Ernie tried to put his life back together, working as a sports reporter under the pseudonym of Jim Socks. His beat was a downtrodden. He did all the footwork for investigative reports. Besides a cape, he had inherited his father's mastery of disguise. He excelled as a journalist and suppressed the carnal urges of his checkered past until that fateful day when those unkind swords drove him over the edge.
Did you hear about Jim? No, what happened? Got caught flat-footed. Oh, gee whiz. He's really walking on eggshells now. He is.
Yeah, I heard he really put his foot in his mouth.
Put a sock in. Here he comes. Oh.
In his blind rage, he attacked a child and grew sick with remorse. The Son of Sockula had stubbed his proverbial toe. He had never wanted to follow his father's footsteps, but ended up as a vampire sock in spite of himself. Ernie could no longer face the future and knew he could never have peace while he felt like a soiled soul. Perhaps it was a suicide, or perhaps he was merely trying to purge himself. But an hour and 20 minutes, it's way too long to dry. Ernie threw himself into the dryer. At last, his torment would end. The tragedy of Ernie, the son of Sockula, was best summed up by the famous vampire sock hunter Dr. Van Hosing, who simply said, "Yeah, sure, the poor little fella could not escape his destiny. The peculiar mixture of rayon and cotton was cursed from the start. His story could not have ended any other way." All that was ever found of him were a few threads and a patch or two of cotton in the lint trap. The son of Sockula was no more.
You know, I never cared much for the sock, but, you know, nobody deserved to go like that. You know, round and around and around in that dryer, you know, with the heat, build up with the heat. Well, yeah, enough with the heat. It's like losing a great adversary. It's like Sherlock Holmes without his Moriarty there, or whatever his name was. We're sure gonna miss him. He leaves behind a wife and a little baby booty. I may even pay them a visit. In fact, I'm gonna do that right now. Talk to you later.
Some say that Ernie the vampire sock is truly dead. There are those who say that he's part of a novelty dance team. Others spread rumors of a sock being sighted with Elvis at laundromats across the country. Well, who knows? After all, show business was in his blood. I just like to think that destiny had more in store for Ernie, the son of Sockula. But from all of us to Ernie.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I hear a calling of my name. I hear a calling of my